If you read the title of this video, you know exactly what new camera I decided to get. And no, this is not replacing my Nikon Z30. JK, it actually, no, it's actually not. What I wanted to do was I never got into the space of action cameras, which is why I decided to pick myself up the one and only and newest release of this summer, the GoPro 11 Black Edition. And if you're wondering, I decided to get the creator bundle that comes with the head mount, the selfie mount, and a bunch of, not a bunch, 2 batteries. And I want to give you my initial thoughts of this camera so far, as well as have initial test footage. So why did I decide to pick up the GoPro 11 Black Edition? Well, I myself don't have any of the GoPro cameras whatsoever. I've maybe used one, like a Hero 8 back in the day, but I have not personally owned one until now. And one of the initial buying points for me was like, look at the size of this, bro. Look at this. This is my head, big ass head, but this GoPro is tiny. And one of the things of being tiny, it is not intimidating. So if I was just to pick up my camera, my GoPro right here, start talking to the camera, it's almost harmless. It's almost childlike. Where if you were to use this, I'm starting to see why if people were to vlog with this camera, people are like, oh, he's just playing with a little toy. He's not actually making videos or like a YouTube video out of it. You'd be surprised. So this right here is me vlogging on my GoPro 11 Black. And I can start to see, the more I use this camera, the overall appeal of using so tiny to vlog and tell my adventure or story or whatever it is that I'm trying to say. And of course, it's a lot less intimidating. If you saw me walking around with this little camera, it just looks like a toy in comparison to if I were to bring this with this setup. That might be a little bit more intimidating. And especially if you go traveling, you're looking for trouble or a snatch and grab with this setup, where if it's just this, there's a little wrist strap and I have a pretty firm grip on this. I feel much more secure having this as a overall vlogging setup. But of course, like I already said, one of the things is there isn't any audio input, so you need a USB-C adapter into that port, and it kind of takes away the whole point of the waterproofing aspect of it with having the battery case function and completely open. But since it's such a wide angle lens, I can see, like, as you guys can see, I'm holding it here and you can still see my shoulders. In comparison, if I hold the exact same length of my 16 to 50, you can see the difference. But also you have to understand that APS-C sensor, it's 16 millimeters, but we're actually shooting at times 1.5 that, so it's 30. My other initial impressions of the GoPro is it has, of course, the proprietary little hinge. I noticed that these were a little flimsy, but after watching a couple other videos that, you can take these out and get these replaced, so I understand that. But you're paying pretty much $1,000 for this setup. You would expect a little better build quality, but that's just me being nitpicky. Opening up this the battery, the housing for the battery, is a little difficult. You have to little pry it down. It's a little stiff, but cool that you can just take it off like that. What I don't like about the GoPro is I don't know why. Maybe this is just a GoPro thing, but there's a little flicky tab here, right? To have it, pull out and you can put it back in. But why couldn't they just have designed something where it's like a SD card where you can just push, pops out, push back in, or like a camera with a little button? Maybe it's for, the size issue. So in terms of shooting mode, as you see right here, you can have 5K video, 4K, and 60 frames per second. You can have 2.7K in 240 frames slow motion. So in terms of video aspects, this already has more capabilities in terms of slow motion, 4K 60, than the Nikon Z30 that I'm using right now. So there's also that added buying benefit of getting the GoPro Hero 11. But of course, there's also been talks of if you were to get if you have a GoPro 10, there's no point of upgrading. But for the mere fact that I don't have any GoPro, it just made more sense for me to get the newest lineup. That's just my MO. So in terms of the overall specs and image sensor, it has a GP2 system processor. You're looking at a 1/9 CMOS sensor, which gives you the ability to shoot in 5K, 4K 60, and 2.7K 240 frames slow motion. One thing I liked straight off the bat from using the GoPro is it does have that fisheye look, but of course you can have the different modes, focal ranges. You can change from linear shooting to wide angle. But just the fact that I can barely hold this away from my face like that, and I'm in completely in frame, that is a big plus when it comes to if you are a vlogger, travel vlogger, right? You don't want to set up your shot, worry about frame with my little tripod. Just whip out your little GoPro and do your little exposition shot, and then you can carry on with whatever you're doing. And then if you want to get some action shots, just point it down. And I was pretty impressed by the overall stabilization. So I'm just do a little stabilization test right here for you guys, right? So right now I have a boost on, and as you can see, I am like shaking the camera pretty violently, all right? Pretty violently. But on camera, it should be pretty smooth. So it takes away a lot of that vibration. Say a day of using it so far, what I don't like about the GoPro is because it was snowing outside, the battery life, I recorded 30 minutes of me driving in 8-bit, not 10-bit, and it went from 90% to 50%. And this was only from 30 minutes of nonstop recording. So that is a little, let's say, worrying for me. Might not have to pick up a future battery, but I have 2 batteries. Just my old, little asterisks of battery life. And it even says in the manual, if you are considering of using this in the cold, please be aware that the battery life does get killed a lot quicker, just like anything, but it seems like it's even quicker with these GoPro batteries. But besides that, there's a little bit of grain in the footage so far because I put everything on auto and it was at 10-bit, but everything else, settings, I set to highest setting. Some grain, even though it says it's 5.3K quality, just because it's upscaled, whether it's downscaled. We'll see which sensor quality looks better. As you can tell, the Nikon camera has it's APS-C, where this is 1 and a 1.8, 1 over 1 and a 9th inch sensor. And I'm still getting used to using these mounts as they're proprietary mounts with these little screws, right? Sort of getting used to it, but... And yeah, that was my overall initial review of the GoPro 11 Black. If you want to check it out, link description. Help me help you. And for me wanting to, travel more and all that stuff, I think a GoPro should be definitely considered within your arsenal. Kind of cheated a bit. Waited a bit till it was like less sunny. But let's go. Let's take the show on the road.